good for me. Vanessa, thank you for asking. Hello, Katrina, Ashley, good afternoon. Daniel, good afternoon. Muhammad, good afternoon. Okay, so a lot of good people are turning up. So we are 2 minutes away, and I think someone has already started recording. That's wonderful. Good. And that never really hurt, because 2 or 3 minutes, if we start a recording, that's not a problem. So I am just trying to make sure that we are recording. Yes. And I'll share my screen as well. I'm expecting you are looking at my screen too. All right, so can you guys see my screen? Good. Good afternoon, Lauren, Scott, Karina, and Nathan, Kyla. Okay, so we had a review session, by the way. Those who were not there, just for their information, we had a review. Oh, thank you very much, Lauren. So we had a review session last Friday. And by the way, it was very basic. And if you want to look at the code that is inside this review _29 September folder. And again, this is also over there on our GitHub repository. So you can always go there and see there, though it was very basic. And I hope those who attended the session, they found it helpful, and that was a help for them. Anyhow, I'll be planning more like them, and in the coming weeks. So be ready for that, and hopefully we will be had. Okay, Stephen, you can always look at the recording, because there would be recording also there. The code is also there. So it's very basic. Like, people ask a lot of questions. And again, I was happy that I got some questions that give me right understanding. All right. So in our regular session last week, we were solving a bigger problem, if you guys remember, and I would like to show everything to you here. We're trying to solve a bigger problem there. And that was quite an interesting problem. If I would like to remind you what we did actually. So we had some data, again, uncleaned, not cleaned, having variable types, we're having multiple spaces and not something. And we were trying to make this data clear, we were trying to clean this data one way or other. So we had this data, and what we did was that there were multiple steps that we had to follow. First step was split the string into an array of separate rows. First of all, we divide that in the separate rows array. Then each row had multiple fields. So we tried to split every row with comma or something, and then got the ID, name and phone number and height, etc. Then we got rid of any extra spaces around the name field. We know that name field had many spaces around them. So we try to remove them, get rid of, using a regular expression, extract the area code. We try to extract the area code out of the number. And that was quite an interesting exercise. If you guys remember, that was quite a good exercise. Anyhow, then we went on to work on height. And, let me show you how we did that. You remember, we later on converted everything to the functions. And that was quite interesting one. That I'll just talk about those functions, split into rows. Something, whatever comes in, it takes out \r\n, like wherever there is new line, it will split that into rows. It will convert that into an array. Remove extra spaces. If you find a space, one or more spaces, replace it with one space. This function will do that. Remove extra spaces. Function extract area code. It will take a phone number, any variable, any parameter, and what it will do, it will create an array after matching with a regular expression by making the capture groups. While capture groups are there, we know that if the match is found, the capture groups are separated, and always the second value consists of the first capture group, because the first value matches of 0 consists of the phone number itself. Anyhow, we said that return this, just return the area code with the curly bracket, with the rounded parenthesis. Extract area code was the function. Normalize height. And we were actually working on this normalized height. And then I gave you that convert this normalized height, which we had done over here, like this, convert that into this function form. Remember everyone, the last thing that I told you was that just convert that into. I hope you guys have done that, but even if you have not done that, what I'll do is that I'll just do
I'll
it
just do it
in front of
in
you.
front of you.
So I'll do
So
that in front of you, and you can have a quick look at that one, that how we will do that in a function, because now it's something that we are trying to do in a function. So you see, remember I said that the height will be passed to it. And by the way, what is the position of data right now? Because we can run and see that what is the position. So I'll just go to my programming JavaScript folder. Inside that CD lectures, inside that CD week 4. This is week 4, by the way, like this was week 4. So I'm still running that one, script.js. So remember, now data is in this form. And of course, it's not converted because we converted that before. But then I asked you to convert that into the function. So that's why the function, this one, I have to just make everything as a function. So look at that, how we'll do that as a function. So field three is the height, field 0, field 1, field 2, field 3. Remember, field 3 will come over there. And in the field 3, what we'll do is that we'll pass this field 3 to normalize height. And what normalized height will do, look at that. It will receive the height, and right now it is just returning the height. But we know we have to do some processing. So now the first process, if you remember, that we have done already, if height dot ends with, if height is already ending with inches. Remember everyone, if height is already ending with inches, don't do anything, just return height. Because if it has already inches, we don't want to do anything at all with that one. Make sense, everyone? If it has inches in the end. But if it does not have inches in the end, we can do the else, or we know that naturally it will fall down to this one. So I'll say let centimeter is equal to parse float. Do you guys remember what was the function of parse float? Take the value and just take out the number of it. Remember everyone? CM will take out the from height. If it is 102 inches something, it will take out just 102. Store that in CM. Let inches, and this is all that we have done. That's why I'm just going a bit fast. CM into 0.39. If you multiply that mathematically, you will get the inches of that. Now, what we have to return now? Now we have to return a backticks, remember? And I would say take out the inches value from the calculated one, line 44. Oh, it's not. I was saying why it is not converting. So it should be dollar sign. Dollar sign inches and space inches. Make sense, everyone? Now you see that you can look at that. Right now it is giving 62 inches, 149 centimeter, 138 centimeter. Looks bad. Needs curly bracket. Where you are saying, Lauren, you mean 49. So curly brackets for what? Let's check that one. If it does not run, hopefully I'll do that. I think it works. So look at that, Lauren, 58.11 inches, 53.82 inches. Does that make sense to everyone? Now it is basically doing some wonderful thing, right? So now, if you look at the data, this data now looks like exactly the same as it was required, but there is a problem. We have to now do a reverse engineering. The next step might be, these are, this is one row, but this is an array of 4 values. This is array of 4 values. This is array of 4 values. So fields are actually, they are separated in the rows. So there is a function. Let me just come back to this one where we were following the steps. So normalize height. The height is also normalized. Now what I want to do? I just don't want to return the fields. Look at that. How many of you understand? Hopefully you'll understand that. There is a function called join. Join all the fields with a comma. Join actually converts an array to a string. Join converts an array to a string with the separated by the character, separated by the given character. Now look at that. If I ask you till this point of time, what is in the fields? You will say that fields consist of, for every row fields consist of this array. Are you guys getting that? What it will do? It will say fields dot join with comma. So it will take away these separate values and it will convert this all one line into one string. How many of you guys are understanding? These fields are right now separate fields, but this step, join step, will do what? Will take these separate fields and combine them into one string. I hope you guys are understanding that. Jay, you are by by mistake, you are unmuted, looks like. So what happens is that this complete row should be converted into a string. Wonderful. Now, let's see what is the output. Maybe it's outputting our right thing or not. Let's see that. Okay, that's wonderful. How many of you guys are understanding? Actually, now I have converted those broken fields into one string. Do you see now this is also an array, but these are three strings now. Before that, it was an array of arrays. Valentine, do you understand that? Array of arrays it was. Now it is not no more array of arrays. Rather, it is an array of strings. This is one string. This is another string. And this comma. And this is another string. I do really hope that guys are understanding. I do really hope that you're understanding what's going on. Wonderful. You do, but let's ask others as well. Wonderful. Now the last step. Another step is remaining. So you remember this data is actually returned in this data, or data is being shown over here. Now, this data is also one array. I do want to have one string as I received this data. I want to have it exactly the same form as I received it, a single string. So how I can do that? I hope you understand. I'll come here and I'll take this data and I'll say data.join. Join the data. How many of you are getting that one with the \n? So those three values that are received now, are you guys understanding that? Those three values that you have received, sorry, this one. Those three values that you have received now, do what? Again, these are the three values that you have received. Wherever there is a new line, join them. New line, join them. New line, join them. Let's see what will be my output now. Sorry, I did not save that maybe. Let's save that. Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Console.data. Data.join. Oh, okay. So right. So I'm just doing the data.join. Now let's see what we'll do. Rather than doing the data.join, I'll do exactly the same thing, but I'll return it from here. Return data.join, because now it's converting, but it's not showing because I will return this data.join from here and look at that over here. So I'll say processed is equal to process CSV. And now look at that. Console.log. CSV data, the original data. And now console.log. Let's put a line dash. And I say console.log processed data. Processed, not data. Are you guys getting that one? Now I'm printing the original data, then dash line, and then processed data. Okay, someone else. Liam, you are now unmuted for some reason. Real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, not a problem. That data was, sorry, do you think you could just quickly go? Yes, Natalina, I will definitely go through that. But Natalina, are you understanding the overall concept? I'll go through that line. Don't worry. And if I hit enter here, do you guys see that now? Wonderful. This was the data that was received from one, like we had got this data. And now this data, which was a single string, I have got a single string over here with new lines separated, but the data is all cleaned up. First of all, those who understood, I'll come back to that one quick, Natalina, and I'll discuss that one. But how about this one, everyone? Are you guys getting that one? This is, I've returned the data dot join. Whatever data is there, join that with the \n. So it takes out those 3 rows, as I had 3 rows, and combine them with \n. So data goes back to exactly the same position as it was before. Can I have a thumbs up from everyone? Do you guys understand what is happening? So data is basically calculating that one, and we have got this data. So Natalina, what is this doing? This is doing a wonderful thing. This does what? We are creating an array. Let data is equal to rows.map. Rows are splitted, and you know where these rows are coming from? They are coming from split into rows. Natalina, do you remember that we had a function split in rows? I'll show you. Split in rows. That does what? Takes the data and converts that with the \n, converts that into an array. So an array is received over here, Natalina. And what happens is an array is received, and that array, each value is passed to row to fields. So every row is taken out of it and passed to row to fields. And Natalina, what row to fields is doing? Row to fields take the row, first of all, converts into fields, again, with 0 or more spaces with a comma. Split that. We get fields of 0, fields of 1, fields of 2, fields of 3. Fields of 1 is the name. We say remove extra spaces, pass that. Field of 2, extract area code. Field of 3, normalize height. Natalina, are you getting that one? And if I just, what is the dot map? Oh, dot map. Natalina, were you there? So map does what? Map takes out one value at a time from the collection, Natalina, implements the function on that, and returns a new array. Map actually maps out some functionality and returns a new array which we are collecting in data. Natalina, are you making a little sense? I'm repeating. When I say rows.map, I'm saying rows is an array. Take each value of row, store it one time, like take it one time, and pass it to this row to fields. Row to fields will do something on this, then return that and store that in another array, which is data. So row. Yes, exactly. But Natalina, if you are a little unsure about this row thing, like map thing, always look at the example of map, and you will really enjoy that. And you remember I showed you some examples. I would definitely like to show you some examples, because this is something that is a bit, what you say is that not that easy to understand. So I'll just show you map function in JavaScript. So look at that. And the Microsoft document, you can look at that one as well, but I think this map is much more better. So the map method of array instance creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element. Look at that. You have an array 1, Natalina, 1, 4, 9, 16. Pass a function to map. So we say array1 dot map. Take one value out of array1, store it in X, and multiply X with multiply by 2. And again, it returns that. And when it returns each value goes into the map1, which is a new array. When I print map1, I will get the output as the 1 will be converted to 2, 4 to 8, 9 to 18, 16 to 32. Wonderful, wonderful. And look at that, whenever you feel something, go to the documentation. You'll definitely enjoy that documentation. Right. So again, we have done that in the parts, but do you guys feel this was a very nice exercise? And by the way, I received a student's comment today that they want more. Another comment before even that. Did you guys got the feedback of your practice questions too? I think because I assigned that to Nicholas, and Nicholas has done a wonderful job. I think he has just given quite a good feedback. Did you guys get the feedback on those? Yes, many. Thank you. That's wonderful. Wonderful. So those who did the work, they have just started to get. So Nicholas is in the process of doing those one. And thank you. I would like to thank Nicholas. He's not here, by the way, but I would like to thank him that he's just, giving some time and trying to get that one. And by the way, some questions which are related to this one, what I'll do? I'll try to create this QAP2 in a way that practices out this one, for us, like this one, and QAP2 is around the corner this week. Hopefully you will be getting that one. And this QAP2 will be interesting one. And again, I would definitely give extra session on Friday so that if you have any. So this problem, if I take feedback now for this problem, was this problem quite a nice one to work with, which has multiple things, which had multiple regular expressions, which had a lot of interesting things, normalizing the height, and extracting the phone numbers, area code, and doing a lots of wonderful things. But yes, you're right. You need a lot of practice to just make this happen. So we'll be looking at our QAP2 this semester, this week, and that would be another a good practice of that one. So any feedback related to this problem, I would be happy to get that. Yes, right, Melody. That's a good point. And again, I'll just share some questions that you will find helpful. All right, Angelica, thank you very much. Okay, so this was our week 5. Okay, this was our week 5. Now what I'm doing, since we are in new week, so I'll just come here and I'll create, sorry. So what I'll do is I'll create another folder here in my lectures, which will be week 5. Right. And in this week 5, I would just create a file. And still I'm calling this script.js again. So this is a week 5, and I'll just write it week 5 file. So today's topic, I shared some videos. I hope you had a chance to look at maybe one of them or one or two of them. I would like to talk about some real interesting things in JavaScript. It's basically more related to the object-oriented concepts, but some of the concepts you are very much familiar with. But I would like to just talk about a new data type over here and how to create data type, how to work on data type. And you guys have, by the way, interestingly, you have worked on that in your first part programming JavaScript. But again, you might have some knowledge gaps that I would like to fill in today. So what I'm trying to talk about today is object data type. Object data type. What is object data type? Now, if I ask you var x is equal to 10, and I ask you what type of data is this, you will very quickly say it's a normal variable. Whether you are using var or let, whatever, it's a normal variable. If I ask you what is this, var name is equal to, for example, Alan, something like that, and Alan and Bob. If I ask you what type of data it is, so you will very quickly say that this is an array data. It can be something like this as well, 1, 2, 3. You will say this is array data, right? There is another data type in JavaScript. Again, I'm telling you, you are very much familiar with that with respect to Python as well, with respect to JavaScript programming part 1 as well. The data type is called object data type. Obj is equal to, and this comes with curly brackets. An object literal, it is called object literal, empty object literal that I have written down. Empty object literal. What is an object data type in JavaScript? As I said, you guys are familiar, but I'll just tell you. If I say var course is equal to curly brackets, or not course, if I say C1 is equal to, and I say course programming. So an object data type has key value pairs that represent any values inside that one. And I think you guys are familiar with that. If I just want to add one more value, I can say college equal to teen. Oh, not equal to, sorry, college teen. Are you guys familiar with this kind of data? I hope you are, but can I have a quick feedback that these are called object, like a dictionary? Yes, like a dictionary in Python. You're right, like a dictionary in Python. But why I'm discussing this one, wonderful. Thank you, Mallory. Why I'm discussing this one, because I have to teach you something very, very interesting that you would really like about that. So you are familiar with this type of data. Now, you know that these two values, the course and college, can be accessed two ways. Let me comment out everything else. They can be accessed two ways. So if I say console.log, you know, I can write c1.course. You guys know about that one? I can write console.log c1.college. I can get both the values out. And you guys know about this one, as I said. Now I'll have to go qd backslash. Oh, I've gone up just out of it, which I don't want. I'll just go to terminal, new terminal. It will come inside the block at least. CD programming, JavaScript, and CD lectures and CD week 5. Okay, so we are week 5. So now if I run that node script.js, you look at that programming and keen both are coming. When we use this dot syntax, it is basically it's basically called as dot notation to access data of the object. Dot notation to access object data, right? But there is another way to access this data. What is that? It's called array-like structure. So if I write C1 and I write curly brackets and I write in double quotations, if I write course, do you guys know that I can access this data like this as well? C1 square brackets, double quotation, course. In the same way, C1 double quotation, and I write here college. Do you guys know that will also access the data in the same way as we are accessing over here? If I just run that one, you will see that programming key and programming key both are coming twice. So an object data can be accessed by using this array likes, and this is called array like syntax, index notation rather. It is called index notation. Now, both ways are there and you can access one or the other wherever you want. Both have their pros and cons. Sometimes one has advantage over the other, which I don't want to right now maybe go into much detail, but what I want to discuss is that's a very different story altogether that I want to discuss. But you guys should remember that an object data can be accessed by using a dot notation, and object data can be accessed by using a index notation or array-like notation. Make sense, everyone? Now, I'm creating an object now. So I create an object, and again, I will be using one over the other. Let user is equal to, I'm creating an object user. So I say first name, Alan, for example, comma, last name, Smith, and for example, email, alan@gmail.com. And since I'm creating a user, so I can say there is a status logged in, false, like Boolean value. And user has a level as well. For example, level 3, something like that. Do you guys understand that I have got a user object which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields inside that one. 5, properties or fields inside that one. Do you guys understand that one? If I console that, just user, if I just console that user, look at that, what will come out? Look at that. I get the object over here. Do you guys understand that an object can have multiple types of data? It's a string, it's a string, it's a string, it's a Boolean, it's an integer value, or it has an integer value equal to that. You might use age or something, etc. as well. Okay. Do you guys understand that one? That's wonderful, because I'm trying to make up your mind. So an object can contain any type of data inside that one, any type of data. That data might be string data, like the value might be string. That data might be, the value might be a Boolean variable. That data might be a number, something like that. Okay, this was to make your mind. I just made your mind, and again, I'll copy this again and I'll paste it again and work it. Not only this, an object can contain even functions. What does that mean? I can come over and I say, for example, there is a function called login. I want to create a function login, right? And I want to create that. So I'll say function, bracket sign. Now, I say that whenever this login function is called, you take the logged in value, logged in, and make it true. There is a function here whose name is login, and I'm defining function in an expression way. So I say login is a function that will do what? When it is called, it will take the value of logged in of this same object and it will make it false. Are you guys getting that one? Now let's make another function. Log out. I have a function log out as well. And what will it do? Again, it will do the reverse. Take the logged in variable and change it to false. Are you guys getting that one? This is quite an interesting one, that it just takes the value and it changes the value. Logged in value is changed to true or false. Now, Angelica, look at that. Look at that. Now, if I print this object right now, if I print this object and I hit save and I run that one, do you guys see that? Interestingly, it show me complete object and it says the first name is Alan, last name is Smith, email is Alan@gmail, logged in is false here as well. Logged in is false, level is 3. Now for login and logout, it says that these are two functions. I don't know what is inside that. Like the print says that I don't know what is inside that, but these two are the functions. Make sense, everyone? I want to take you somewhere very interesting. Now, if after that I say user.login and I print the value of this user object again, do you guys know what will be the output now? Do you guys know what will the, or if I ask a straight question, if I print it again, this is one object being printed. When I print it again, what value will be changed over here for the next time? Anyone? I have called the function from inside. I said user.login. Call the function from the user login. Login true. That's wonderful event. Do you understand that concept? Login true. Look at that. Look at that. I'll show you. Oh, yes. I want to give you something very interesting. You see that it is still showing this one. Now, I might need to make a little change over here. There is a keyword that we use, and that keyword is called this dot logged in. In the same way, this dot logged in. What is this? I'll just talk about this. You see, I've just given the this dot logged in. And now again, if I run that one, look at that. Look at that, what has happened. This object, first time when it is printed, because I printed it first. So it shows that the value of logged in is false. Even, do you understand that one? And now, if you look at that, logged in value has become true. Now, what is this? This typically refers to contextually the object in which it is resides. So I'm saying that for this function, like, when you are calling this logged in, this is inside this object. This means myself or wherever you have called it. Are you guys getting that one? This means where I'm residing, go to the same object, you will find a property logged in and make it true. Jennifer, are you getting that? What I'm trying to say? This dot logged in. This means where I'm existing, go to the same object, you will find a property logged in, go and change its value to false, change its value to true. Did you guys understood this concept? This is very important and we'll be using this a lot, but just telling you about that one. So what it is doing now, see that if I call the function now, user.logout, if I call this function and again print the user, what will happen now? Look at that. Look at that. 3 values now. For first user, logged in false. For second user, logged in true. For third user, logged in false. Do you guys know what I've done? I've just called these two functions in between. I'll stop here and I'll ask everyone to come with me so that I move forward. Are you guys understanding, everyone? I need a feedback from it. So this object itself has a function that if I call will make a change in some of the properties of that one. Some of the properties of that one. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. You guys are understanding. That's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, Dylan. Thank you very much for yours. Now here comes the concept. Here comes a very, very important concept. Now I'm just, commenting this out for a second so that just it goes out of our way. This is one user object, which is for Alan Smith. I want one more user here. So I'll copy this complete code. I'll copy this complete code and I paste it again. And I will say, of course, this is new user. So I'll say user one because user is already defined. I'll change the values. I'll say it's Bob Smith, whatever. And the email is Bob. And for example, Bob's value to start with is true. And level of Bob is 1 or 2, whatever. And functions are same. You guys understand that now I have created two objects. One object name is user and one object name is user one. Now, if I come here and again uncomment this out, and again, I'm not I'll paste it on the top because this so that you remember what we have done, but I'll just take it over here. So look at that in the comments, you might remember. Now we have two objects. So if I write console.log user one and console.log user, I'm printing both of them, right? If I print both of them, look at that. I have got both of the objects. User 2 is coming first. User 1 is coming first, Bob Smith, and user 2 is coming second, and it is over here. Now I can even access their single values of course. I can say user 1 dot, for example, what is the user 1 dot last name? What is the last name of user 1? What is the email of user? I can just print these values. I can take out one value at a time. So if I just come here and I run that, you see Smith is the last name of user 1 and email is the Alan@gmail is the email of user. Are you guys getting that one? Now it means if I need another user, I'm making a tedious job because I want to make you understand something very interesting. If I want to make another user, I'll have to copy this virtually all, paste it over here, and I would call it user 2. And I would call it, for example, Christina. And for example, let's change the last name as well, Lee. And let's say Chris at Gmail, and her level is 3 again, and rest of the things same. Now think about something. Are you guys looking at how tedious or how repetitive work I am doing, copying and pasting the same thing over and over and over? Do you guys feel that I'm doing something really useless type of thing? Copying and pasting the same thing because all the fields are same, only values are different. I just keep on writing and writing and writing and writing and writing the same code over and over. Exactly, Lauren. That's what I want to tell you. Rather than writing this object in a way, JavaScript provides us a very interesting function, which is called constructor function, to create objects. What is that constructor function? Let's talk about that one. And I'll comment this all out. You know what I mean? Again, I'm making the ground that why I'm discussing that one. So JavaScript says define a function, for example, with let or const, whatever, let with capital U. User is equal to function. Define a function with the name capital U. Remember, capital U. Always constructor starts with capital U, right? Constructor should always start with capital U. Make sense, everyone? Now, let's say, so it says that user is equal to function, and you say, and now this function will receive some parameters. it will receive a parameter F. It will receive a parameter L, last name for. It might receive a parameter E for the email. And it might receive a parameter, let's just for the email. It will receive 3 parameters. I have a user function that will receive 3. And by the way, rather than defining that like this, just to make something, I can make it like this, but I want to give you all the shapes of it. So I'm creating it like a user, like, in this normal way, function declaration way, right? Declaration way I'm using. So constructor function is a function that starts with a capital letter. And what we say, like what JavaScript says, is that you create a function and with a capital letter, and it will receive certain parameters and use those parameters to set up certain values over there. What does that mean? Let's look at that one. So I'll say this dot first name is equal to F. This dot last name equal to L. This dot email equal to E. This dot logged in equal to false, something like that, because there's no value received. This dot login is equal to a function. And again, what it will do, it will just catch this dot logged in and make it true. This dot login is a function, right? And what else I want? Yes, this dot logout equal to function. Now, it will make it false. Now see here. Don't worry about this slash line coming. It's just, given. I'm saying that define a function with a capital letter, user, which takes 3 parameters, and it creates its own fields with this keyword: first name, last name, email, logged in, login, logout. It creates its own fields. And after creating its own fields, what it does, it takes those 3 parameters and sets up first 3 values in the parameters, and rest of the values are same for everyone. Rest of the parameters are same. Allow me to maybe take one more parameter, LV for level, right? I'm calling it LV, and rather let's call it V. So just to make it simple for the level, right? So I'm saying V, and let's create another one. This dot level equal to V, right? So it takes 4 parameters and sets up those 4 values in some of the 4 fields of itself. And after that, it defines some of the fields by itself. It defines 2 functions and everything. Are you guys getting that one? Now, how to create the object now out of this one to make life easier? I would say let. Exactly. Even see here, let ln is equal to, I'm creating first object as ln. And I say ln is equal to new user ln Smith ln@gmail.com and 3. even got the point, even got to the point where I'm trying to take you on. You see, ln is equal to new user ln Smith ln@gmail 3. How many of you understand what is going on? I have called this user function and I passed, for F, I passed ln. For last name, I passed Smith. For email, I passed ln@gmail. And for level, I passed a V, set up those values, and it set up some of the other variables. Now, very interestingly, if I just come here and console.log ln, if I console.log ln, exactly. And you remember I was creating that manually Valentine before, and now it will be created automatically. You see here? Now look at that. In one line, I have created an object which name is user. First name is Alan, last name is Smith, email, level 3, etc. Good. If I want to make another object called Bob, let Bob is equal to new user Bob, let's say Wilmer, something like that. bob@gmail.com. His level is 2. Pass these values and create an object for me and print out what is inside Bob. Okay, let's go there and let's find out. You see, I have got now 2 objects done. How many of you are understanding this one? I'll be happy to have some feedback from you guys. Isn't that cool, Mitchell, that you see that we have got now a single code that is creating functions. And by the way, now I want to show you something very, very interesting. If I just take these away, for example, I've created two variables, like 2 objects, Bob. Let's create 3 objects. Let Chris equal to new user, Christina, Lee, and that Chris@gmail.com, and level is 2, for example, something like that, whatever. Now I've got 3 objects. I want you to just, look at that, how interestingly we can play with these objects. By default, whenever I create an object, the first name, last name, email, and level are set up by the user, who user provides them. But should I say that rest everything is set up automatically by that one? For example, we are creating object. So we can say this dot department equal to, for example, HR. It will always be HR. Are you guys getting that one? We can set certain values which are constant, which will be always there, which will be just created over there. And that some of the values that will be passed by the user and the object will be created. Now, if I just print console.log and I say, what is the Alan's department, which is same for everyone, but why not? I want to find out what is the department of Alan. Let's see that. If I run that one, you see, Alan department is HR, which is, of course, everyone's department is HR. But can I change Alan's department? Alan.department equal to IT. Can I do that? If I just print Alan now, just after that, look at that. Look at that. Alan has a department of IT. I can change the department because, it's something in my hand. I can change that one. Are you guys getting that one? I hope you guys are understand. So now it's very easy to create objects. You just pass in the values, you just do something, and the user is created. And when the user is created, you can always you can run that one. Is that making sense to everyone? I hope everyone is enjoying this topic. This is something quite an interesting one, and I would really like to tell you that these are few of the basics. I have a question regarding the use of var constant letter. I understand the question, but I'm trying to find out where or the other instance of creating a user instance, we use let instead of const or var. Okay, so Valentine, I have discussed this question a number of times, but today I'll just set it I'll just discuss it for once for all because I get this question every now and then. So I'm just answering your question, and I'll answer it over here so that it's mentioned. Remember, var was a legacy way of declaring variables in JavaScript. Legacy way means it was an older way. Always we used to use var in our classic JavaScript. Are you getting that one? Valentin, I'm discussing that, and I want to just discuss it one for all. So it was a legacy way of defining the variables. We always used to use var and define the variables. When ES5 and ES6, this is called ECMAScript 5 and ECMAScript, and I can call this advanced versions of JavaScript, were introduced. They defined 2 new ways of defining variables: let and const. Right? So first of all, Valentine, just remember that one. Var was a legacy way. Legacy way means that it was always used in JavaScript, classical JavaScript. When JavaScript came into existence, var was always there. ES5, ES6, they are not very old, like they were advancements in JavaScript. ECMAScript 5 and ECMAScript 6, they are called advanced versions of JavaScript. I call them. They were introduced. They defined two new ways of defining variables, let and const. Now, today, so var has a function level scope. Var has a function level scope. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like var will only be available in a function where it is defined, not outside of it. Make sense? Wellington. And again, I'm making and I'll, by the way, for everyone, I'm parking this topic for here, but this is quite an interesting one. I have to come to very interesting parts of it. But do you guys, everyone understand that I'm parking this for today, and this week's next JavaScript class, we'll be coming back to this one. And again, this is one topic that is, of course, not directly part of our today's topic, but this is very important. And again, because I got a question every now and then, so I'm just completing this one for today. Var has a function level scope. Var will only be available function where it is declared, not outside of it. Now come here. So there is nothing on the top. If I say var x equal to 10. Now look at that, Valentine. I have defined this var globally. There is no function right now, globally. If I come here and I define a function a, will I be able to access the value of x here? Let's see that. If I say console.log x in a, if I call a function, let's look at that one. Let's clear that and now run that. Do you see that I can access x inside this function? Why? Valentine, are you getting that? Because I've not defined this in any boundaries. It is a like sort of global something right now. Make sense? Let me create another function, function b. Function b, console.log x. You will understand, hopefully this you will understand now very clearly. So x has been defined in x has been defined globally. If I call a and if I call b, if I call both functions, can I print the same value two times? Yes, I can print them, right? Now see here. If I cut this declaration, from here and I take it inside a, is there a difference now? Why? Because x is now no more global something. X is now inside of a boundary. It's not a global thing. Let's run our program. I get an error. Look at that. Look at the error. It says x is not defined at b. Does that, first of all, hopefully clear about the scope of var that we are using over here? For everyone, not for only Valentine. Does it? So see, x is now only accessible inside the boundaries of a. X cannot be accessed over here. And this is the error that I'm getting. I'm getting an error that console.log x in b function, JavaScript 111 line. Oh, I'm not understandable. X is not defined. What is x? I don't know. Make sense, everyone? Now again, it means that a variable defined with x has a function level scope. Exactly. Okay, Mitchell, now listen about that. I'll talk about let as well today because, as I said, I get so many times these questions that I want to just, park it for a side for forever. So var has a function level scope. Function level scope. What does that mean? I'll talk about another thing. If I come here and if I say, for example, I have defined in this function, I have defined this var y equal to 20. There is a y as well, which has a 20 value, right? So I have two variables. Now I say if x is greater than 10 or is greater than 5, console.log y. Now, please don't get confused. I'm just removing the b because it's not no more required. I have nothing to do with the b now. I made a function. I say if x is greater than 5, console.log y, right? Rather, I think a better situation will be this. If I use for loop, for var I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Now see here, and I say console.log in college, something like that. This is very good example, and you will hopefully enjoy this example. I have a variable x and I have a variable y. And again, these are all var defined. Now, if I just come over here and I can console.log and I say the value of x is, can I access x? Yes, I can. And let's copy this one. The value of y is y. Right? Now, after the loop is done, I will ask a question to you guys. If I print I over here, what will be the value of I? I will be very happy to know that. Don't run this and tell me with your understanding, what will be printed out by this line? What will be output of this line? Can someone tell me what will be the value of I when the loop will be done? Okay, Anjalika said 4. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anjalika has done a wonderful job. At least try to guess that. Okay, Amy, that's a very good point. 6. Someone says 6. Okay, you know what I'm doing? For the time being, I'm commenting this out so that loop does not confuses us. So I just run this one. Look at that. What is value of 5? 5. Because on 4 also this loop will execute. On 5 it will exit. Brendan, try to understand. 4 is less than 5. It will again run. When it will become 5, 5 is not less than 5. Therefore, it will be 5 over here. Angelika, you got it? Now, a very interesting thing. If instead of var, I defined it with the let. Look at that. I'm about to tell you the crux of the discussion today. If I say let I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, and I hit save, and I run my program, do you know what will be my value of I now? I have an error. Look at that. What is that error? I is not defined. Now listen. Now listen very clearly. Hopefully you will understand that. Let has a block level scope. Do you guys understand that one? Block level? Whatever block that variable is being defined in, it will only be accessible inside that block. So I can access this I over here. It will print this I. It will print the I over here. It will give me the output for that one. But when I say that I want to access this I over here, it will say no, let variable cannot be accessed out of the block where it was defined. How many of you understood difference between var and let? Let is a block level variable, while as var is a function level variable. Valentine, you got it, right? I is not accessible here. Why? Because when the block ends, I gets died. I dies when that goes out of it. Is that making sense to you? So remember. Exactly, Valentine. So it's now Valentine, it boils down to your need, your requirement, what you want to do. Wherever you need that, you will just use that. Now the last but not least, const z. Now I cannot define const z like this because I'll have to give it a value something. So I say const z is equal to 30. Now the difference between const and everything is what? I can print, if I say print the value of, sorry, if I say print the value of z, console.log z, it will print out the value 30, right? It will give me 30. Very good. Nice. If after 30, if I come here and I say z is equal to z plus 10 and console.log z. If I say make an increment of 10. What will be my output now? Yes. So you see that now it says, you see what it's saying. Look at the error. Assignment to a constant variable. Assignment to a constant variable. There are paradoxes to each other. Constant variable. Z is defined as scope wise, you know, it might be equal to scope wise, maybe let or something, but the issue is that const cannot be changed. Const cannot be changed. Const cannot get a new value. Are you guys getting that one? So now, and const has more than, like, from the level, const is a constant value that once defined cannot be changed. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope you guys understood today the concept of var, let, and const. The irony is I'm not teaching you the introduction to JavaScript. It's actually something that was an introductory something. But anyhow, that's not a problem. I would have, gone through this very earlier, like, if I was teaching the first course. But of course, it's my understanding is a bit different. But anyhow, I hope you guys understood the difference between let, const, and var. So if I say let, it will only be accessible in that block where it is defined. But of course, if I just go here at the very top and I say let age equal to 20. Now, as I have defined this let in the very top, which is global, now it will be accessible everywhere. But let, big thing in Python, which was funny because constants did not exist in Python. Yeah, so let age is equal to 20. So it will be accessible. But again, if I come here and I have a block somewhere, if I define this let y is equal to 2, this let y will be accessible here and here as well. But if I define it in a scope somewhere, like in another scope, it will only be accessible over there. You saw that I gave you example of accessing I over there. Thank you, Angelika. You found this explanation good. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so if I hit save, I think it was quite a help for you guys because you were a bit confused about that. So it's October 3, and we have done some wonderful things today. And by the way, I'll just remind you that this was something that we have started is something really cool, and I'll be covering that up more. And on Friday, as I said, we might have a review session, and I'll tell you if that is a review or maybe if I'll be going for some new topics, I'll let you know of that time. But everything should be now you find on the GitHub. If you guys have any questions, you can now ask, or if not, we can put a message.